Hi, everyone. Welcome. Just give you a little bit of a chance to get settled, allow time for people to continue joining. Love you to type into the chat for us tonight what you had for dinner. If it was a Thermomix recipe, hopefully we can find it on Cookie-Doo. So we will be able to work on answering some of your questions tonight. If they go really quick, we might not get to all of them, but we will keep an eye on the chat, and one of us will try to find the answer between us. I'm sure we'll have the knowledge, and between you guys in the room as well. I'm certain we will be able to answer anything. Pasta salad from Coles, Linda. What's going on?
Just got home from holidays, so it's like yesterday. So it's like, no, I'm not cooking yet. I will eventually, but
yeah,
still in holiday mode.
fair. Nothing worse than getting home and the fridge is empty and you just can't be bothered cooking.
True.
Shredded lamb ragu, Angela. That's awesome. That's the one from one of our magazines initially, wasn't it? Or it was in one of the magazines. Very cool. All right, well, tonight's focus is allergy cooking. So we're going to do a little bit of a focus on gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free, nut-free, egg-free. We won't have all of our recipes eliminating all of those things because then we might get a little bit stuck. But we will talk about substitutions and things. So we would love, I actually did do, I think in the, I forgot to check. If you can just put into the chat, we'd love to know what your main things you're interested in, allergies or intolerances, just so we can touch on those tonight. You know, if you're low FODMAPs or things like that, and then we've got a bit of an understanding of what's most important to cater to. So we're going to kick off with Anna. She's cooking us dinner tonight. So Angela and Trish will be back very shortly. So Anna, let's get you started.
Oh, I'm just looking at the chat. So we've got quite a few gluten-free, a few gluten-free, dairy-free, keto, egg-free, gluten-free FODMAP, especially garlic and onion. Yeah, nut-free. Okay, cool. Yeah, so my name's Anna, as Claire mentioned. I'm a Thermomix consultant in Australia and Singapore. I live in Singapore at the moment, but I still run my business virtually in Australia. I've been a consultant for, I think, just over 3 years, and it's been such a amazing change to my lifestyle from when I was a teacher. I've got a lot more flexibility. And yeah, freedom to do my job as I please rather than kind of stuck in a little hole. So yeah, suits me really well. I'm really passionate about the Thermomix, and so I love sharing how much it can help me in my lifestyle. I'm gluten-free, dairy-free and sugar-free, and it's like a health choice. But yeah, the Thermomix is priceless for that. So I'm cooking the beef and mushroom stroganoff. And it is a gluten-free, nut-free, egg-free recipe, but it's not dairy-free. So I'm going to be showing you how I'm making that dairy-free today. So the first step is to put the varoma into position and weigh in 300 to 500 grams of cabbage. If you're ever chopping up cabbage, I highly recommend getting one of these meat cleavers that you have from the mix shop. It's awesome for chopping really big veggies like pumpkin. It gets right through, obviously for meat as well. But yeah, that's what I use when I'm slicing it up. It means you can get it really thin and nice. So then I'll set that aside. And I'm putting in 4 sprigs of parsley. And we'll be chopping that up. Putting that in a bowl off to the side.
And Anna's actually doing one of our demo dishes. Oh, do we still do this one in demos?
Not anymore, it used to be. But the reason it was a demo dish is because it's so quick. It's like 30 minutes from start to finish, and that includes the mains, the sides, everything. So now I'm adding in, and I never wash the bowl, I don't know anyone who does, 200 grams of brown onion cut into wedges, 30 grams of oil. I don't know about you, but I always tend to go over with oil. I love olive oil, nice and healthy. And then, Blackguard, where are you? Okay, so that's going to be sauteing the onion. While that's happening, obviously, being dairy-free, the change I need to make is not adding the sour cream. So I've come over here, just obviously I would have done the sour cream beforehand in my Thermomix if I only had one. I'm lucky to have two. So for the sake of time, I'm going to be coming over here to show you how to make the cashew sour cream. So that's a recipe on Cookie Do. I follow it exactly as it is, and I use it for any recipes that ask for sour cream, like this beef stroganoff. So, sorry for those who are nut-free, this is full of nuts.
Hopefully no one's dairy-free and nut-free. I think we have
Oops. I'm in a very small space over here, so it's just going to be a bit. So I actually am going to skip the chives part of this and go straight to put the garlic in. And I actually am going to cook the garlic inside it. It's meant to set aside with the chives, but I want to keep the flavor in there cooking. So I chop that for 5 seconds. And then I'm going to be adding 120 grams of cashew nut, preferably raw, not roasted and not salted. 150 grams of water. Teaspoon of salt. And what you'll notice with a lot of these dairy-free things is a very similar sort of, what's the word, formula. They're often, to get that sort of cheese flavor, you've got things like lemon, which I'm adding now, salt, onions, sometimes there's nutritional yeast. So 60 grams of brown onion, 40 grams of lemon juice, and we're chopping that for 20.
and if we're doing it low FODMAP, we just don't add the onion in there, Anna. She probably can't hear me.
You wouldn't have been able to hear me talk while that was going. It's quite loud. So we've blended that up. If you can probably see, it's this sort of paste at the moment. And then the next step is we're going to cook that for 5 minutes on 90 degrees. And so that is now where, should I just keep going with this for a bit, Claire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. So my onion has finished. I'm inserting the measuring cup. And I'm just giving those onions a bit of a chop for 3 seconds. Oops, that didn't happen. Let's try again. Sometimes if you do chopping straight after high heat, it takes a while for the blades to spin. You'll notice it doesn't actually chop. Okay, scrape down the sides of the bowl. I'm actually substituting chicken for the beef because beef is too expensive in Singapore. Okay. I've gone a bit over. I'm doing about Sorry, my face is being chopped off here. I've done about 500 grams of chicken, and now I'm going to be sauteing that on high heat for another 7 minutes. So we'll hand over to, is it Angela?
Yep, Angela's up. I'll leave you on, Anna.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela Anthony. I'm a Canberra-based Thermomix consultant. I've been doing this for just over 18 months now, and for me it's completely about just how much I enjoy using my own Thermomix and having a real love for trying to get that happiness and convenience into other people's homes. I'm not cooking for any allergies. I don't particularly try and avoid anything necessarily here. So when I have particular, if guests come over, for instance, I'm always trying to find recipes that basically work around what people can and can't eat. So I'm going to just show you the chocolate feed a crowd cake tonight. It's nut free, it's dairy free, it's egg free. It does have gluten, but you can substitute with the gluten-free flour in it. So it's all very straightforward. And the other thing that's great about it is that it lives up to its name. It really does feed a crowd. So I've just done already taking care of the first few steps. So I've got a casserole dish with some water in it in the oven. I am preheating my oven, and I have actually greased. It does say to use a square cake tin. I'm going to give my Verona Bulk tin a whirl tonight, see how it cooks in that. So you start with 80 grams of oil. I like to use avocado oil in this recipe, so I'm just going to pour my avocado oil in. A little bit over, I shouldn't matter too much, hopefully. Reasonably confident it won't. 5 grams, won't notice that. My 400 grams of water, I am going to weigh my water very carefully because that will make a difference at the end if I'm not careful. It does say vanilla extract. I've got vanilla bean paste here, which I just prefer to use that. It says 2 teaspoons, but I just always like to just eyeball that one. Don't think it hurts to be generous with your vanilla bean flavouring. 40 grams of balsamic vinegar. Two teaspoons bicarb of soda. Getting a little fizz here, which is lovely. Now 400 grams of raw sugar. I'm just using white sugar because I'm out of raw sugar at the moment. If I'd thought of it earlier, I actually might have pulled out my low GI sugar. I have been doing a bit of experimentation with low GI sugar lately. So I would have given that a crack if I'd thought of it sooner.
This is actually the cake that my daughter makes, or she used to make for school lunches because it's so easy and so
It
good.
is so easy. It is so, it is so easy. If you've got, if the kids are having friends around, this is probably a recipe you could just set up in Cookie Do for them, get them to cook themselves some afternoon tea. So we're just putting in 510 grams of self-raising flour. So you're starting to get an idea of just how it manages to feed a crowd. Pure volume.
If I was going to make this gluten-free and using gluten-free flour from the supermarket, I'd probably do it in 2 smaller tins rather than one really large one. Just gluten-free rises a little differently in the center or doesn't bake as well in the middle. You guys can see Anna's finished her cashew sour cream. She's just pouring it there into the jar or the jug. The texture changes a lot. It thickens up heaps once it's cooked.
50 grams of cocoa powder. Oh, and of course managed to spill it all over my screen. Embarrassing.
That's all right. I do that every time.
Happens to the best of us. This is where the chocolate flavor comes from. So I've been pleasantly surprised. You do get a very rich chocolate flavor, even with, only being 50 grams of cocoa powder in there. Pinch of salt. Again, I just tend to eyeball my salt. There we go. That's a pinch. Oh, lucky for me, my touchscreen's still working, even with cocoa powder all over it. Deal with that shortly. So you can see really straightforward. We've literally just measured in all our ingredients step by step. Now we're just going to get it to give it a mix for 30 seconds. So just bear with me. We're not going to be able to hear each other for 30 seconds.
Anna, you might like to show us your cashew cream.
All right, so here's the cashew cream. This one's finished too. Yep. It's quite thick. If you wanted it a bit thinner, you could add a little bit more water and give it another stir just with a spoon. But yeah, this is the consistency that we end up with.
Nice.
So this is looking pretty good, but it is definitely got to get the spatula in there. And I think, again, it's just a volume issue. Just needs some help moving it away from the edges. But actually, it's pretty good in here. It's done a pretty good job, about what we'd expect from our beautiful, high-quality German-engineered kitchen appliance. So that's all scraped, and I've just sort of given that a little help along the way, getting that all mixed back into the mixture. Going to give it another quick blitz.
So I'll quickly jump on again. Who was it that mentioned it? Jane mentioned about FODMAPs, which I was going to talk about and completely forgot. So I have been low FODMAP before when I was trying all these different diets. And yeah, onion. So in this recipe, it uses onion. If you wanted to do low FODMAPs, you would replace the onion with, some people can tolerate eschalots, or otherwise like the green end of the spring onions are good. So just add those in like you would onion. And then for garlic, you can actually buy garlic infused oil, or you can make it yourself. And I used to make my own garlic infused oil in the Thermomix as well. The only issue with that is it only lasts a short amount of time. So buying it's a little bit easier. But yeah, I used it so much when I was low FODMAPs. I went through it in like 3 days anyway.
Okay, I'm just going to pour our mixture into my pre-prepared tin. And then, so I don't have to guess, I am not a very intuitive baker. I really do need something to tell me everything, every single step of the way. So I'm going to set up the sensor, available in the mix shop, also available this month as a tier 2 host reward. So if you host a demo while stocks last, and one of your guests decides to purchase a Thermomix you will receive a sensor in addition to your choice from the Host Reward catalogue. So that is a pretty good deal, but it is only while stocks last. So definitely get in contact with your consultant to host a cooking demonstration early this month, is my advice. If you'd like one of these in your kitchen. So I've got all this, I've got my sensor probe set up on the little rubber grip, and I'm going to set that up on the rim, but I'll just show you in a moment what I've done. So you can see that's just sitting there on the edge. Now what it says is I just need to make sure that the probe isn't touching the tin, which is not because of the angle. So I just don't want to make sure I put it too deep into the mixture. And then I need there's a little mark on it. And I just want, you probably can't see that, but I just want to make sure that's at least a centimetre above the batter, which it is well and truly. So we're all good to go there. That's all set up, ready to go now. And I've synced with my Thermomix now. So my sensor's currently at 19 degrees in the mixture. I'm going to pop this into the oven now, and it's going to come back to me. It's going to let me know when my cake is finished baking. So that's it for me for now.
Shall I do the rest of mine now, or just in the background while you
Yeah,
guys?
no, you do yours now. I'll
All right, so I'm just now at the point where we've done the cooking of the meat and the onion, and I'm adding all the flavors. So I've got the mushrooms in there. Then it's 50 grams of tomato paste. $100 grams of white wine. If you're avoiding alcohol, you could do like vinegar and water. That's sometimes if I don't have any wine, I'll do a little combo of those. And then meat stock paste. For anyone with intolerances and allergies, these stock pastes are total blessing, because finding good quality, like say gluten-free stocks, is hard, or if you find them, they're full of sugar. So yeah, I've just always got a batch of meat stock is what this one's called, which is beef stock, chicken stock and veg stock in my freezer. If I run out, I just make a new batch. And if you are, say, low FODMAP or salicylate free or all those things, you can make your stock to suit your needs, and that way you don't have to worry about the shop not having what you need, because they don't cater to that. So the next step is ground paprika. You've noticed these little cute little bamboo bowls. These are also available at the mix shop. They're really cheap in packs of 6, I think. I love using them when I'm doing cooking classes. Pinch of salt, I think that was in there. Cayenne pepper, which was also in there, and some Dijon mustard. And that's the teaspoon. All the condiments I buy are always gluten-free and organic, and it's always nice to know that what I'm putting in is good as well. And then I'm going to be cooking that for 15 minutes, and on top, the cabbage is going to be steaming on top. So over to you, Claire.
I'm just going to leave you on for a little bit, Anna, and then I'll bump Trish in once I've done these. Okay, so my name's Claire Wells, and I live in Canberra. I've been doing Thermomix for over 12 years. I started out needing a Thermomix desperately, and so I earned one, and I stuck around because it's such an incredible community of people. We get to learn so much. I've learned so much about food and cooking. I've always enjoyed food from a health perspective. So health's been a big driver in my adult life. And that's what has attracted me so much to this business, the product and the people. And so we love sharing our knowledge with you guys, but we love learning from you as well. And that's where all of my knowledge has come from, is you guys. I can't rave enough about this business. So if anybody is passionate about their Thermomix, we are always looking for more consultants. I know you are all across Australia and New Zealand who join us, and we need consultants everywhere, because there's so many homes out there that are yet to see the benefits of what a Thermomix can do, and particularly with allergies and intolerances, it's a no-brainer, like to be able to eat the way that you want to eat, substitute ingredients, but also save a lot of money because it can be quite expensive to buy foods that are ready-made for dietary needs. Okay, so I'm making the strawberry amaze balls. Now, these ones are great for primary school lunches because there's no nuts, and you get to have a bliss ball. So Linda, thumbs up, fantastic. Now, the only downside to this recipe is finding freeze-dried strawberries when you don't have any in the cupboard. I had to go to like 3 different shops and I'm like Googling, and Woolworths had them, but the health food store didn't have them. So I finally found some. These ones actually have a bit of sugar in them, which I was highly disappointed by because I try to avoid all sugar. And they're sweet enough, but here we go. It means that my teenage children may just eat these if there's that little bit of sugar in them. So it says about 40 grams. The packet I bought has about 45. They go in and just mix that up to speed 8. That's going to go in my bowl. These ones are our set of 3 mixing bowls in the mix shop. I love these. This is the medium size one, and I use them pretty much for everything, all of my baking, cooking, any time that I transfer out ingredients. So here's the freeze-dried strawberries. Looking delicious in there. Now with any bliss ball, you can add sort of extra ingredients if you want to. And so one of the ingredients I wanted to add is I've actually got this pack, and I got this from Gemma McQueen because she had all this amazing cool stuff that she wasn't going to use. And it's freeze-dried fruit and berries. And it's a whole different variety of ones. So blueberry, pomegranate, cranberry, grape, cherry, raspberry, strawberry, mackay, acai, and they're all organic. So I thought I'd put a couple of teaspoons of that in as well, just to give it some extra, microbiome diversity. So I might put a tablespoon of that, add that to my freeze-dried strawberries, and that's what this looks like. So thank you, Gemma. Not that I don't think she'll watch this, but some of you might know who she is. Okay, puffed brown rice is my next ingredient. I'm using buckwheat today. I try to avoid rice because it's in a lot of gluten-free foods, and I find I just have too much of it. So I generally like to sub with buckwheat. So 70 grams is a lot because they're so light. Oh my gosh, it's like nearly my whole packet. All right, check it out. That is 70 grams of puffed buckwheat. It's crazy. You can get puffed millet, puffed amaranth, so you can get different ones. You can play around with them. I'm sure puffed rice would be the least flavored one. And I'm going to turbo chop these up. So it's preset me to turbo, 2 seconds. And I might just do that one more time. And I'm going to add that into my bowl with the strawberries. Just did it a little bit, hang on. Didn't do it a lot, but Anna, do you find that it doesn't blitz it a lot when you do the turbo?
It doesn't blitz it a lot, did you say?
Yeah.
Mine's quite powdery, but I don't think it matters. It'll end up crushing in. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I have a feeling buckwheat's just a little bit tougher than rice.
Oh, I've used buckwheat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I've got sunflower seeds, there's 180 grams. And this one actually makes a little bit of a nut paste. So I'm going to blitz that up. So guys, I'm making these strawberry amaze balls and I'm making the sunflower seed paste at the moment. So Anna, you might like to talk about the sunflower seed paste while I do my next blitz. So this is where I'm up to, but I need it to be a little bit more pasty.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, Claire, I realized I should have jumped in before.
All right, you can go now. I've got another 40 seconds.
Okay. So sunflower seed paste is just like you would think of as a nut butter. So peanuts become peanut butter, almonds become almond butter. My favorite nut butter is the ABC nut butter. I don't know if any of you guys have made that. It's really good. It's made with almonds, Brazilian nuts and cashews. But yeah, they obviously can't go to school, and for anyone who can't have nuts, they're no good. And you'll find, like Claire mentioned, all these bliss balls have nuts in them. So sunflower seed butter, and this one's sweetened with honey as well, is a really good replacer. And this makes a really nice sunflower seed butter at the end, which you'll see that you then mix together with these dry ingredients to make the bliss balls that Claire's making. I find the combination part a bit complicated, and like you're meant to fold it in, whereas I don't know about you, but I get really lazy and just throw it all in the Thermomix and blitz it up. So it seems to work.
All right, so did a couple of, you know, when you can sort of hear that the blades have stopped hitting the food. So I just stopped it, pushed it down again, and that's what I've got. So the next thing to make it a little bit more pasty is I'm going to add some coconut oil. So it says 20 grams, about that much. In Singapore, that would be melted.
Weird seeing a block.
Well, it's pretty soft today, actually. It's not warm here in Canberra, but it's not as cold as it has been. Where are you guys from? Put in the chat where you are, in Australia or New Zealand or somewhere else. Sometimes we get UK.
Nowra, Wollongong, Canberra, Bundanoon, Mount Gambier. Awesome. Bundaberg. This is awesome. There's so many different places. Canberra. Oh, hi, Vic. Debbie, hi. Oh, there's a few of my customers in here. Awesome. Hadn't actually paid attention before. Box Hill. I don't even know where that is. Where is that, Jane?
You guys can see that beautiful paste I've now got there. So that would be my sunflower seed nut butter if I wanted a nut alternative to anything. So yeah, just what Anna talked about before. It's pretty amazing. It does need that little bit of extra oil into it though, because it was a bit dry before I added that. Okay, the next part is 240 grams of rice malt syrup. So this is a great substitute if you want to avoid sugars, like if you want refined sugar-free foods. And so it's it's nowhere near as sweet as honey or maple syrup. And so I find it's a really good one, although I am trying to avoid rice. So I haven't been using this a lot lately, but lucky there's no rice and rice malt syrup, right? So I've got this, going to pour in. It takes quite a lot. Anna, do you ever find that you can put less in, or you need to put the full amount in?
You could put less, especially since you've got the sweetened version of the freeze-dried strawberries.
Yeah.
But they're not that sweet. They're not too sweet.
Yeah, cool. The other thing I wanted to show you guys, I was up in Coffs Harbour a couple of weeks ago, and there's a carob factory, and we learned all about carob trees and what the carob, it's actually the seed pod, which is the carob, and you can buy it and eat it as it is, just the pod, and it's really got so many good health benefits. and they sold pure organic carob syrup. So this is just pure carob and water. And so you can just pour a little bit of this into anything savory or sweet. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it's really nutritious. So I could potentially put a little bit of that in here, but I just won't because I've got the extra berries in. I don't want to put too many extra added things. So that now gives me 4 minutes. And it says to put a tablespoon of vanilla extract through the hole in the last 20 seconds of cooking. So I'll do that. But what I'm going to do is move over to Trish. So Trish, while my amazeballs do their work, you're going to jump in. Thanks, Anna. We'll come back later. You can show us your end dish.
All right, great. Hello, everyone. I'm Trish. I'm a new consultant. I'm probably at month 5 mark. I loved my TM5 for a long time, went along to a demo and fell in love with the 6 and jumped on the consultant adventure. And I earned this little guy here, and so we've been having lots of fun. And I've just kept on going, like Claire was saying at the start. It's such a wonderful, oh, hello, there's a vegan online. I'm in vegan as well. Hello. So I just saw you fly up there. Where did you go? Christine, hi. So yeah, I've been really, really loving the Thermomix consultant journey and going and hanging out and cooking with people, and it's been really, really fun. So my background is I'm a wellness consultant and coach, and eating in a way that's really great for our bodies and figuring out the right way to eat for each of our particular bodies is a bit of a passion of mine. So for my particular body, it really loves it when I don't put too many grains or sugars into my body. It does okay with some dairy, but I go too hard on that. So I've been really enjoying the Thermomix journey of cooking with foods that don't come up to my body and in a way that doesn't agree with it.
Do we need all this, lady?
But also,
Sorry, Trish, I accidentally muted you. You have to unmute yourself. Sorry. My
I'm
bad.
back. So yeah, I'm going to make the crackers, the 7 seed crackers. And one thing that I love about this recipe particularly is, yes, there's no nuts in it, there's no gluten in it, there's no dairy in it, there's yeah, it's full of all these fantastic nuts. But the other thing is that all of these nuts, seeds, not nuts, all of these seeds are absolutely power packed with different things that are really exciting for our body. So I'm going to start cooking it. We're doing the 7 seed crackers. The other thing that I love about Cookie Dough is when I press start cooking on this guy, because it's an American recipe, it's in a Mediterranean cookbook. From the States, and it changes it automatically over to the imperial measurements, which I don't know, I just always love that. My mum is Canadian, and I grew up constantly needing to convert recipes from ounces to grams, so this is a bit of a happy place for me when it just does it for me. All right, so we're going to start off with some buckwheat grouts that are just going to go in. I'm not as organised as Anna with the bowls. We're just going straight from all my jars. And so you can see that I am hitting the mark with that guy. Sunflower seeds are coming in next. So this is a really great one as well. I do this for kids' lunches as well when we, because there's no nuts. So it's a really great cracker without the nuts. We also, you know, like there are the rice crackers, those kinds of things, but the nutritional value that is in these just is so power packed with the omega-3s, with, here we go, measuring and talking at the same time. Yeah. And flax seeds are just incredible. We love those. We're going to pop 1.5 ounces of those in. Here I go. Yeah, and hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are a bit of a favorite of mine, and we're going to do a dip as well that has the hemp seeds in them. And they're just so power packed, hemp seeds. I put them in the protein powders I make. I just love them, and I love the flavor of them. They're really, really yum. All right, so now up to sesame seeds. I'm going to get a little bit crazy here. I love black sesame. So I'm going to do half with the black sesame and half with the regular sesame because, you know, why not? There's a great recipe that's a gluten-free crumb mix that's on Cookie Do. And I always make it with the black sesames because it just looks so pretty. We're coming into the chia. Chia is so amazing if you're going with the egg-free options. It's a really great one because it gets that binding that you don't get, like that doesn't come from other things. So I often will use chia as an egg replacement when I have people coming over with that have an egg allergy. It's a really great one. And okay, so now we've got the flavoring. And the other fun thing about this particular recipe is that you can flavor it however you want. So this is asking for a tablespoon of either dried rosemary or thyme. So I'm so excited about these. These are the rose gold measuring spoons. I got them in the last mix shop sale. I'm a bit excited about them. They're so pretty.
I love them too, and they're amazing. I resisted for so long, and then I finally got them. I'm like, oh my God, I love them.
They're just so pretty, and they like move really well. Anyway, so rose gold excited moment. So yeah, I do other mixes with these. Sometimes I'll do like a paprika or a turmeric or some kind of thing. I've done this with tamari as well if I wanted to have that kind of a flavor. So you can really play around with the flavors for these seed crackers as well. We're putting in some psyllium husks. Great fiber, great prebiotic. And we're going for some salt. The other thing I like about these is that they've got like the 2 teaspoons or a half a tablespoon measure, which is like such a handy one. And some pepper to taste. Okay, so now we're going to add in the water and let's see how I go. I don't think I've ever sat down and cooked in my Thermomix. It might become a new thing. It's pretty fun. Whoop. I've gone a little over with the water, but I'm hoping that will be good. So now we're going to give it a little mix up.
While that's mixing, we had someone asking about the rice malt syrup for gluten-free. You can easily substitute rice malt with honey or maple syrup or agave coconut syrup, things like that.
And with the malt powder, I actually made a buckwheat malt powder, and it's amazing. So if you ever want to add malt powder in and you are gluten-free or celiac, then you can make your own. And it's just sprouted buckwheat, and then it's dried in the oven and milled.
This guy has just mixed all the water in, which is what it's mixed all the seeds together. The water's in there, and the water's just going to sit in there and get soaked up by the chia now. And it wants to sit for 10 minutes. So I'm going to jump over into my spare bowl. which is, I never knew that I wanted a spare bowl until I had one. How good is the spare bowl? If you I just, oh, okay, pop that over, that can keep soaking, and I'm going to move on over. And the other thing that we're going to have a little go of making is this basil avocado hemp pesto, which is a great dip. It's also a really yummy pesto if you don't want, there's no dairy in it, so you can make it because it doesn't have the parmesan. It's a really great one for that. And it's just so dense in nutrients. It's really, really delicious. So and it's one of these lovely, just whack it all in the bowl and it all mixes up kind of ones, which is really, really fun. So I had an adventure this afternoon. I went to a bunch of shops looking for basil, and who would have thought that there's no basil anywhere? So I pulled the last of the basil off my basil plants outside. I've stored it in a little vacuum-sealy thing. The other thing I put in the vacuum seal was the avocados, and how good's that? I did that a couple of hours ago and they're not even a little bit brown. I love my vacuum seal. It's a very exciting thing. So I'm going to do the tiny bit of basil that I have, which is 3 grams. But the thing that I also really love to do with this is in my other one of these guys, I've got a bunch of spinach. So I often will mix up the basil and the spinach together when I do pestos. And it's pretty yummy. In the last magazine, the winter one, there's a spinach and, oh, gone too far, got too excited. A spinach and walnut pesto in that magazine, and it's so delicious. But my kids don't even realize that it's spinach and not basil, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to add pine nuts. So depending upon allergies, some nut people are fine with pine nuts, others aren't. If I wasn't doing pine nuts, I'd probably do sunflower seeds instead. Just doing 30 grams in here.
Thanks, Trish. I was going to ask that question. I'm allergic to nut products, so I was going to ask that question to Claire. So thank you.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I would use sunflowers, pepitas, like any of the nuts that I used in the seeds, I'd replace. But I particularly, my sort of stock standard is to go for the sunflowers instead of the pine nuts. In a minute, it's going to ask me for walnuts, I'm pretty sure. Is that next? Yes, walnuts. So instead of walnuts, then I might do the pepitas or something like that instead. So I often find myself swapping out seeds for nuts. Oh yeah, I'm still adjusting to the way that the TM6 does the 1 gram at a time as a measuring thing. I've got a my old, like, I'll just back it in 5 grams at a time with my TM5. And we're coming on into hemp seeds again. Hemp seeds are so amazing. Like, if you want to like get excited about a seed, go and read about hemp seeds. They grab hold of sugar, they improve moods, they're just like these power-packed awesomeness. So I'm putting in garlic, but if you're FODMAP, then you could choose a different spice to put in. You could just leave it out completely. What's that? What's the asafoetida? The one that they use in.
I've got that.
Yeah,
What
that's
does
another
it do,
way.
Trish?
Sorry.
What does it do?
Well, I think it's just the flavor. Like, it adds that flavor that you can have instead of the garlic and the onion. So putting in, it's really strong, so you just want to put like a tiny little scoop in. All right, so now we're up to our avocado with our flesh only. There we go. Avocado is such another one that is so great as a dairy replacement, like for like doing mousses and those kinds of things. I often do an avocado mousse instead of having the dairy in it. We've got our sea salt again. These guys get to come play again. Doing a great job with them. Where are we up to? We've got our lemon juice.
So I'll just show my bliss balls. I've rolled a few. So I actually added the puffed buckwheat or rice into the Thermomix with the freeze-dried strawberries crushed. And I did a little bit of mixing and aiding with the spatula. But then I just did a final sort of mix together in the bowl because it was a little bit uneven using the Thermomix solely to mix it. But it was much more mixed than what the recipe says, which is just to put it in and fold it together. And the butter of the sunflower was very thick and sticky, so that would have been very hard to do. But here's the balls that I've rolled. So it's really easy to bring these ones together. You can make them small, large, and then you just squash them and roll them. So yeah, pretty cool. I won't roll them all now. Take me all night. Look how much there is. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, they look delicious.
I'll eat one before the night is out.
What I just did is I just added the lemon juice and the olive oil, and I've done a little blitz, and I'm just going to scrape down the sides now. This is exciting. Oh, it smells amazing, far out. I love the smell of pesto. Oh, yum. All right, so that's its first mix. And we'll go again. Pre-emptying its little scrape downs.
So I'm also making a gluten-free loaf of bread for you guys. I will put Trisha's dip into the chat. Sorry. You keep going, Trish.
Yep, no worries. So yeah, it needs another little blitz. We'll do one more. It needs one more time through to get all those pine nuts. Okay, and yeah, that's looking pretty great in there. And it's a perfect addition to the crackers to have something that is dairy-free, gluten-free, grain-free, all of that. So that's my little dip zone. There's more in there, but I'm going to put the rest in a jar for later. So the last step the second last step of the crackers that we need to do is we're just going to whiz them up after they've had their soaking time, and then we're going to pop them on a tray for the oven. Do you want me to show that bit, Claire?
Yeah, that would be great. And before you do that, I'm just showing, I'm going to throw in some brown rice, basmati rice, and some millet. So there's some millet in there as well. And that's going to take a couple of minutes. So just starting the recipe.
So what I've done is I've just popped my other bowl back over onto back into here, and it's done it sitting. And so after the mix, after it's rested, we're just going to give it a little mix up now that it's got the wet in there. So the next thing we get to do is we get to roll it out onto, it's saying to put it on a piece of parchment, then you put a bit on top and then you roll it out. I kind of skip the parchment on rolling out and then putting it in the tray set. I just pop it straight into my rose gold tray, and I use a little baking mat that sits on the bottom. And I don't know quite how I'm going to show you this. I'm going to pop it out onto the tray. And it's such a good size. It fits, it's just perfect. Just fits in perfectly to this. It's the middle rose gold tray size. So I pop that out. You can just see it's all just sitting on the top like that. I'm going to spread it all around. And then I'm going to grab out, instead of using a bit of parchment, I'll grab out my silicone mat, because I just love that I can do all these things without any waste. I can just give it a little rinse off and away it goes.
So Trish, since you've become a consultant, have you earned many freebies?
So many. It's been so exciting. I don't know, I must have gone away and I came back and there were all these parcels and it was just like a little Christmas party. These were part of it, the rose gold tray set. I got the glider board the other day. That was really exciting.
I love the glider board.
Oh my gosh, how good is the glider board? And the sensor. Oh my gosh. So I like my steaks a particular way, and every time now with the sensor, my steaks just, and the bread that you're about to make, that's one of my favorites. But since the sensor, I just get it perfect every time. It's never too dry. It's never got soggy bits in the middle. It's just always perfect. Just a bit blown away by how great that the sensor is. But one other really cool thing that I got at the mix shop was this little guy. Have you got one of these, Claire?
I don't have one, but I've used it before. Yeah,
So it does like the crackers. So with these particular crackers, it says to bake them, and then you can break them and cut them up after they're fully done. But what I find with this particular recipe is I actually like to do this before I put them in the oven, and then when they come out, they just break into the bits really easily. So I do this sort of, I don't know if that's going to work.
that's good. We can see.
Yeah, I just kind of like roll it along here, and it creates the little triangles.
Cool.
And then when I pop it in after it all goes hard in the oven, they just break apart into these little triangle bits really, really easily. Yeah.
Amazing.
So this is what happened. So when I did the batch that I did before this afternoon, I broke them all into little triangles, and they just break up just like that.
So good.
Yeah, so that's me.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm just going to get this bread going, and then we're all going to jump on and show you our end result. So don't go too far, Trish. All right, so this is the chia and pepita gluten-free loaf of bread. I recommend this one if you want to try a gluten-free loaf of bread. This is the best go-to one. When you're doing gluten-free breads, you're kind of cooking a different way to, which if you guys are gluten-free or celiac, then you would know you can't just make a bread out of gluten-free flour. It doesn't work. So the general rule is for at least 4 different types of seeds or grains of any type of sorts. So this one has rice and millet. They were the first 2 that I milled up. The next step is to add chickpeas. Now I actually round out chickpeas, couldn't find any in the supermarket, which is surprising. So I'm just using sorghum instead. It's you know, I find it doesn't really matter as long as you mix up the types of grains that you use. So 40 grams of sorghum. And then I've got
that means besan flour, not chickpeas, like chickpea flour.
Oh yeah, sorry, chickpeas milled up are besan flour. So yeah. So actually I don't buy besan flour. I make my own flour by milling up chickpeas in the Thermomix, and that's my brain goes automatically to that place. Thanks, Anna. All right, I've got some chia seeds, so chia's on for the night, and pepitas. They go in whole. I'm using xanthan gum. Now, it is a corn-based product. Not everyone can tolerate xanthan gum. I find it is quite essential, or at least some sort of gum is essential for gluten-free baking. I once tried gluten-free puff pastry without xanthan gum once, and it just melted everywhere in the oven. So I learnt the power of adding gums. So yeah, just play around. If you can have it, it's a pretty magic ingredient. Teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to mix that up. Just a quick blitz. I'm going to get my third size. This is the large one. So I've already used all the other ones. And all we do is transfer that into a bowl. So we do the dry ingredients first. Looks like that. So that's sort of our flour mix. And next I add the wet ingredients. So I've got 2 tablespoons of honey. I've got 400 grams of water. Two teaspoons of dry yeast, and that has a little bit of a heat up, but once it gets to 37, or I would just use already warmed water. Once it gets to 37 degrees, I'll just stop there. My next step, so does anyone know how to use the preview button? Do you all use that? I use that just to get all of my next steps ready. Makes cooking so much quicker. Yeah, and sorry, in the chat we've talked about psyllium husks, so they are an amazing binder, and you'll find a lot of the gluten-free, grain-free breads that you make have a significant amount of psyllium husks in them, but you'll also find those ones tend to have a lot of egg as well. So if you're making the gluten-free, grain-free ones, it's very challenging to avoid the egg, but there are definitely recipes out there. So if that's you, then, you know, talk to your consultant, they can liaise with us. So it says use macadamia oil. Obviously, if you're nut free, just use olive oil. It doesn't really matter what type of oil you use. I like to use a variety of oils, of clean, healthy oils in my home rather than just using one all the time. But olive oil is definitely my main go-to. I use a lot of coconut oil, and I cook with a lot of ghee as well. So some people who are dairy-free can tolerate ghee, because the milk solids have been burned out, so it's just the fat, but some people can't tolerate ghee. Apple cider vinegar and 2 eggs, which my chickens laid today. I then add the reserved flour mix. And I mix it up. Well, I don't mix it up, my Thermomix mixes it up. Got my loaf tin, lightly greased. So this is what it looks like. It's just asking me to do another little mix, but I think it doesn't need it. So there you go. All I have to do now is pour it into my loaf tin. So that goes in. If you're new to Thermomix, you could put that in and spin it at speed 8. flick all the batter to the sides and then just scrape the rest in. I won't do that to save time right now. The trick to a really good gluten-free loaf is not to underproof it or overproof it. So you kind of want to just get it to that double or 3/4 of the tin. If you overproof it, it'll get really hollow in the middle, like it'll sink in the middle when you bake it. If you underproof it, it'll be quite dense. So you might have to play around with it a little bit. I made a loaf earlier. It only sank a tiny little bit in the middle. I actually thought it was pretty good. Sometimes I've had them far deeper in the sink. But yeah, I've already had a little cut of it, but I'll show you again, only because I wanted to eat it hot. So this one cooks for about 45 minutes in the oven. I love this is the bread knife in the mix shop. I take the guard off because I kind of like to change it up a bit, but it just slices so easily through. And I find with the gluten-free bread, it doesn't last a long time. So I'd cut it up into pieces and put it in the freezer. Just get it out when I need it. So that's it. Look at that. Amazing. Soft and spongy, perfectly cooked through. And that was about the 45 minutes at 180. So yeah, there you go. Gluten-free bread for a fraction of the price.
Can anyone appreciate how quickly Claire just whipped that up? Superwoman.
Mindful of time here. All right, so we're going to bring back Anna. I can't see you now, Anna. Where the heck did you go?
I'm here somewhere.
Going to bring back Anna and is Angela on, or did she? Oh, she's Angela. Angela, are you still able to come back on?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah, I did get kicked out. I'm back.
You're back. Now I got to find you.
Oh, you got me. Okay. All right. So here's my cabbage noodles. Excellent for anyone who is looking for low carb keto. Veg replaces are awesome. You can also do zucchinis, cauliflower rice, broccoli rice, lots of different ways to use veg instead of carbs. And then this is my stroganoff. It is a little bit more chopped up because I use chicken instead of beef, but still delicious. And then obviously the parsley that I chopped up at the start, I'll sprinkle on as well. And there's my dairy-free, gluten-free, egg-free, nut-free beef or chicken stroganoff.
Awesome. All right, we're just going to get a quick screenshot photo. So, oh, Angela, look at that. That looks great. I was a bit worried it would like explode over the edges.
I am so happy with how well that came out. I'm so impressed.
Amazing. All right, thank you. All right, great. We've got a photo. We'll share those with you guys. And we've got the ebook coming out too as well. If you want to know any more about hosting a demo, talk to your consultant. If you want to find out more about joining us, we're heaps of fun and we're really friendly, and you'll have so much free stuff just like Trish. We do have a half price business kit at the moment. So $75 and you get just everything you need to kickstart. It's kind of, yeah, nothing to lose and everything to gain. And talk to your consultant as well about our referral program. If you don't have time to host a demo or you're not interested in that, then potentially you've got someone who in your life who needs the Thermomix, and you can benefit with a gift voucher from the mix shop. So yeah, we've got loads on offer for you. Thank you for coming along tonight and allowing us to share our passion for cooking and the Thermomix with you. And we'll see you next month. I can't think off the top of my head right now what the theme is, but it will come out on socials and in the next email that comes through. And thanks to this beautiful team tonight, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, tips and tricks, and of course your fun vibes.
Bye, everyone.
See you, everybody.